So I've just had to record this video because I've got to the point where I just can't keep quiet anymore. It's not just frustrating me, but it's just making me angry at everyone that's going on about the problem that isn't really the problem. They've got it all wrong. So here's the thing. I'm seeing so much about the relationship between people's success, particularly women's success around being successful, is to do with the fact that they can't do things in the male way. It's not the male way. They want to get in touch with their feminine side. People talking about the relationship between money and sex and that it's a taboo subject. And it's all coming up now to the point I just have to say what needs to be said and actually put you right on a few things. So the deal is that the reason why you as a woman are probably struggling in your business, if you are struggling, is because of this one very thing. In order to succeed in life, we have certain energies that we use. The most powerful energy to be successful is our sexual energy. That's the energy that we were gifted to allow us to be successful as a breed, to be enabling our genes to go on from one generation to another, to allow us to be dominant over one person over another, to allow us to be attractive and appealing to someone else so that our genes will succeed. It's the same energy that we use to be successful in business. And if you don't use this energy, you're either going to constantly struggle, you're going to keep hiding away, and you're going to have more and more problems. So why do women in particular have such a problem with this sexual energy? It happens for men too, and certainly their sexual energy gets damaged when they have a business failure, if they have some career issues, falling from grace. Their sexual energy really does get damaged. So this isn't actually just about women, but it will predominantly affect women more. And the reason for it is this. So we've come up through generations now where sex is not the topic to be talked about. We don't talk about sex, it's not open. We don't have honouring of the female body when it's awakening, when the menstruation starts. And in that same time that menstruation is starting, and that change in our life is actually changing our mind, it's changing our thinking. And when we suppress what's going on, when we keep it a secret and it gets hidden, so we start to close off the doors to our minds, to the way to think using that energy. And so we have to find other workarounds, but they're not as powerful. So what does sexual energy give you? Sexual energy gives you clarity. It gives you power. It gives you dominance. It gives you decision-making abilities. It allows you to work on instinct. To not have this is where you're going to fumble. It's where you're going to not know which way to turn. It's going to be making mistakes again and again. It's going to be not being as creative as you possibly can when you're having problems, finding it difficult to be able to solve them, having to reach out to other people to solve these problems. When you have all the answers yourself, but you've closed off those doors because you've closed off this energy flow. And I'm just getting really frustrated at the fact that people are labelling it other things. They're labelling up, to do with goals, and that's too much for them. They can't achieve certain goals. Well, you can't without sexual energy. And you can do it in another way, but that's not going to build your empire. It's not going to give you the legacy. It's not going to make you the leader that you really want to be. And there's a lot of women out there that want to be leaders, and the ones that are leaders are the ones that are connected with their sexual energy, whether they've labelled it in that way or in another way. They are open to their creativity. They allow all of that to flow. They're prepared to be courageous and dominant, and they're prepared to take risks because they have this sexual energy flowing. They may have called it something else. They may not even realise that actually it's one energy flow that is the most important factor. But as you can look back through the years and through the generations around the topic of sex, but it isn't just what we learnt from our parents about sex, about not to talk about it, not to honour our menstrual flow, not to honour the changes that are happening in our body and the ways that our mind are thinking. It's also the sexual experiences that we've had. Because the beliefs that you start to have in your early childhood and slightly later on, you go out into the world and you validate them. So the chances are you've been violated, and it's probably been more than once. The chances are that you've had to suppress your true feelings. The chances are you feel that you can either have sex or love, but you can't get love through sex. And you've got mishmashed ideas around how to get what you want. It's probably to do with media and how things are put out on display. And that affects you, that violates you on a daily basis. And for this reason, you keep the sexual energy closed because you don't know how to work through that stuff. But there is an option, and that option is to focus on your sexual energy. It is to look at what are the ways that I can express myself. What are the ways that I can use this dominance that I have naturally inside of me, and the things that are coming up, the things that are problems for me, the way that I don't like the male world, because you should love it, because you should be attracted to it. As a woman, you should be attracted to it. If you don't love that, then you've got stuff to deal with. And you can work on that stuff, you can write it down, you can work through it, and you can use whatever techniques that you want. But they're all the answers for you are in that. You haven't got a problem over here and one over there and one over there. If you're struggling in business, you're struggling in your career, you're not going where you want to go, it's because you're not using the biggest energy flow that you've got. And you may think, well, I've got this far, I've done really well, I'm really successful. But you're probably also talking about how hard it was and the things you had to fight against. And it doesn't have to be that way. It could be a lot easier. And the point is, you've got to where you are now and you've got nothing else left. You can't think of other ways because all ways lead into this one area. And this is the area that you need to unblock to enable you to create your legacy. Because after all, isn't that why we're in business? Isn't that why we're doing what we're doing in our career? Isn't that why we're climbing the corporate ladder? We want a legacy. We want to pave the way and do something new and show people how it's done. We've got vision. We've got style, expression. We've got so much to give. And it's all in that energy flow. So if you really have got your sights set high and you really do want something big, you really want a legacy, not necessarily for everyone else in the world to know about, but one for your children, one for your family, one for the people around you, just for yourself, just to know that you've got something more than just you, something more that you're going to leave behind, then you really need to be looking in on this issue around sex, because it's all in there. And money is tied to sex. We've got a long history of money and sex and how money buys sex. But money doesn't buy you the sexual power. That comes from within. You can do all the work you like and all the other stuff. But power, true power, comes from our sexual energy. It has to. It's the way we were built to be successful. And if you're thinking about, but that's in the body and that's in times gone by and that's in caveman world, well, as you know, as in the mind, so in the body. And so you reverse that. So in the body as in the mind. If you've not got it going in your body, then it's not going in your mind. If you're not allowing things to flow in your body, if you've got disease in your body, and I'm guessing you probably have, you've got some issues along there, in one way or another, because most women do. And the men that do, it's because they've got sexual energy issues. So take from today the fact that there is really just one area you need to focus on if you want to make quantum leaps in your business, in your career. You want to focus on sexual energy. You want to work out how you can express yourself. You want to deal with the violation that's happened. You want to deal with the fact that things have been suppressed. And then you can start to honour yourself and allow the true you to come out, to be speaking your vision, to be leading your vision. And you'll be able to communicate in such an authentic and powerful way without even really trying. So if you've got any questions on sexual energy, I'd love to hear what they are and what's coming up for you right now, because I know, just even recording this, I know there's stuff here. I know from the women that I talk to, there's stuff there. I know from the men that I've worked with, the damage that there is to their sexual energy. That's the biggest thing that gets damaged. It's the biggest thing that they didn't deal with when they were in that pivotal position. And then they kind of cower away and they get frightened. So I welcome your questions. I'd love to answer your questions. So send them on through whatever means you can find appropriate, whether it's via email or through the social media platforms. But just take from today, just focus on your sexual energy and what's blocking it. And honestly, the transformation that you're going to get is amazing. I'm Lisa Davies. Have a great day.